morning.
Good morning. Look who we've got back. Him.
Yeah, him.
That
He's
one.
back.
Yes, I forgot my labels at the top. I
Shady's
forgot which way it was.
back again. Shady's back.
Yeah,
I'm back. After working on some one-to-one scale house-related issues this week that needed sorting, I think we have a light at the end of the tunnel, and it may not be a train coming in the opposite direction. So I'm confident.
Was it the roof? Was it?
Huh?
Was it the roof or something? Was it?
No. It was just house-related stuff. It was.
Yeah. I thought you said it's the roof. Then I was like, "Fucking hell."
No.
Poor Gary sat up on the roof.
No, it was a combination of many things. Plus, I had to go and visit my dad because I hadn't seen him since he'd had his hip replaced, and the whole week just went away from me. But I'm sort of back on an even keel now.
Excellent. Well, it's nice to have you back with us.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back. What have you been up to this week, guys?
Well, what were we working on Monday? Oh, we were working on our dioramas on Monday, weren't we, John?
We were. Yeah.
I painted me donkey.
Hello, donkey.
That'll do, donkey.
Get out of my swamp. I'm all alone.
Donkey.
And in the morning, I'm making waffles.
He's a very shiny donkey, but
shiny donkey, shiny donkey.
Yeah. And
he always calls me donkey.
He got piggy.
I shall call him Porky. I shall call him Sausage.
Lord of the sausages.
Sausage.
Yes. And I did happen to see that Mr. Marley was barbecuing sausages earlier on this week.
I'm not his own.
About half an hour ago.
Right. Fair play.
Yeah. But they were delicious. Thank you very much.
Good.
And also on Monday, Gary, I finished. I believe I finished the
look at
that thing.
Is brilliant.
What I would like to consider the diorama for the Whippet.
Yeah, but that's
Whippet good.
Just sets it off.
That's going to look awesome in your cabinet.
Well, it's as I said the other day. I went. What cabinet? I have a cupboard. Out of sight.
We call them. He calls it a cabinet. We call it a garage.
Yeah.
Granted, my garage is the size of some of. What do you call them?
Castle, I think.
You don't. No, you don't call them zip codes in the UK. What do you call them?
Postal codes.
Postal codes.
No, we did actually work out when you first moved into that house that the floor plan of that garage is exactly the same size as my house, my entire ground floor of my house.
As it should be. Yeah.
You and your millionaire's mansion.
It's not at all. No, I wouldn't call it a mansion, and I'm certainly not a millionaire because of what was formerly called a mansion.
When you disappear into the distance just to get to the other side of the room, that's the mansion.
Yeah, I know. I come back, and when I open this door, sometimes it's it's a long walk to the door there. But sometimes the sun's coming up, sometimes it's coming down. It's hard to describe.
Sometimes the sun's coming up in one side of the garage, it's going down in the other side.
Yeah,
I don't think Sonic's realised that I can still watch him. He's dancing in the background.
Put it down, Sonic.
Anyway,
So
the other thing I've been working on this week is I'll change my camera. The Edwards Camel and Co. Hasn't gone very well. But I'll show you what's going on with it. So I had bought these things. These are HGW.
Oh yeah.
Dirkles for Edwards Camel, blah blah blah, and they're all the ply bits of wood, right? And although they're pre-cut, apparently they're decals. So
Alright.
Follow the instructions on. Well, there are no instructions, so that comes
right.
with what goes where. It's a white bitted card. That's the thing that comes in, white bitted card. A stiffener, white bitted card.
Oh, right. Okay.
A bit of cardboard, another bit of card. There's no instructions, but found them
I
online.
reckon.
Followed their instructions, dipped them in water, used them like a normal decal with microset, microsol, and this is what happened. They just literally broke up.
Oh.
I tried different things. So that one was wet for 20 seconds and then try to move it with the finger. This one I tried to let it float off, but it just broke up in the water. So as a result, they're unusable. So I then had to paint it. So that's how it's looking. So it's just I've done it like a wood grainy sort of finish on.
Oh,
on
that's
those
all right.
and the other thing that hasn't gone so well, apart from that decal tearing there, which is easy to fix, just a bit of white, I was aiming for PC10, which is the colour that's not brown. It's more of an olive drab. Referring to the instructiones, it's a difference between that one there, which is a slightly olive, and that one there, which is a brown. So you can sort of see, well, if there wasn't that much glare, one's greeny, one's browny. It's more, it virtually matches the brown.
Yeah.
In fact, Peter Jackson's got one of these flying. In fact, it's that one flying around, and it looks exactly that colour. So that's not so bad, but it's not looking anything like I thought it would because I was going for the lighter wood grain colour. Yeah. So it needs to be rigged, but it's coming along.
Cool.
It's a lovely kit. They go together so well. These Edward ones.
I will be the judge of that when I do my.
I was working on my Albatross yesterday, Gary.
E7. Oh yeah, you get wafers with it.
I very nearly smashed it. Literally, I very nearly slammed my fist down in the middle of it.
You see, this is the problem with World War I biplanes.
Well,
mind you, go on.
Because the spars and that in it. If you look at Steph's, they're all round and they're quite chunky. On mine, they're not. They're very thin and they're very streamlined. So like an oval, like an eye shape profile to them.
Right.
So you stick them on, and as soon as you touch them, they bend and snap. So every time I put any weight on them or anything like that, they just come off. I was like, try and glue one on, and as soon as you glue one point on, the point before snaps off.
Yeah.
Like, in the end, I've had enough. I'm just chucking it to one side for now.
Yeah.
We have got loads of comments.
Oh, right.
I've got 10 people.
That must be one of
10
them.
people.
Well,
it's because you're back, mate.
Jim, that must be one of the comments.
Yeah. It's because you're back. That's what it is.
It's all about
welcome, 10 people.
My people.
Can all 10 people make sure you like the live stream, please? That'd be very helpful.
Please do.
And also like and subscribe to these other two
Yes, and if you haven't
feel
subscribed
like
to Friends of Models for Heroes or the Scale Modelling Twins
I've got a long white
YouTube channels, I'm
Oh,
hoping to put
bitch,
some
please.
content onto the Friends of Models for Heroes channel this week.
Yes.
Next week.
Yeah. What if I
How
don't
come you
like
make
the
it
live
more
stream, Mikey? What do I do?
Then you get kicked off it.
Okay.
And you disappear from my Discord.
For the second time today.
Never to be seen again.
I thought I was going to say that. Oh yeah, I'm going to be putting a video out
Comments.
in the next few days as well. Comments, yes.
Oh, like a
Stuart
Biden
says-
one, a resignation from the stream, or what are we expecting? Good things? No?
Let's not get political.
Righto.
12 people. Cool. So Stuart says hi all. I say morning,
Okay.
Stuart. Modmin, time to work.
Mothers.
Good morning, Stuart says. Third time I got here on time. Laugh out loud. Ha ha ha. Well done, Stuart. Squarish, aka James, says morning, everyone.
Good morning, James.
Steve T says hello, everyone. Hello,
Hello,
Steve. And well done on completing your first model, by the way.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Steve completed his first model. He posted it on the Discord server yesterday. It looks very good.
Well done,
He should
sir.
be very proud of himself.
I should look at
Tiff
it.
says,
Oh.
morning, Squarish. Morning, Steve. Jim
Morning,
says, good morning,
Jim.
all. Good morning, Jim. Tiff says, morning, Jim. Jim says, good morning to our gracious hosts. Jim says, morning, Tiffany. Sonic says, stand by your beds. Sorry, Chalky. Lol. Jim says, we call them zip codes in the US. You do indeed.
Mhm.
Jim says, Steve T. Hello, Steve. Duke says, good day, all you lovely people. I flew to Queensland today and I'm totally exhausted.
Well, take a
Bet you
plane
are.
next
That's a
time.
long wait.
Yeah.
I'd be knackered as well.
Yeah. I mean, they're not heavy. They're not, they're not lightweight tools either, are they?
No.
The planes.
No.
Jim says, good morning, Stuart. Stuart says, morning, Jim. Jim says, Duke, good day to you, sir. Jim says, squarish, good morning to you. Kerry says, morning, everyone. Good morning, Kerry.
Morning, daughter.
Stuart says, morning, Kerry. Tiff says, morning, Kerry. Jim says, Sonic, Scotland, top of the morning to you, lad.
Nice.
I thought that was Irish, not Scottish. Jim says, good morning, Kerry. And Sonic says, hey, Jimbo. And Jim says, Albatross.
Albatross.
AD says, hello, chaps.
Hello, good morning, AD.
Jim says, AD, good day. Good morning, AD. And AD says, good morning, Jim.
Good AD.
Stuart says, still a rookie modeler, only on 10th aircraft, made a big error and forgot to put landing gear bays in the wings. Hey, you're still doing better than what I've done at aircraft. Don't worry. Frank says, question, why do YouTubers constantly say like and subscribe? Do you think we're too stupid to subscribe to a channel if we like it? For the record, I subbed you all along ago. Right, the reason being is the more people like lives and videos and things like that, the more YouTube promotes the channel to people that haven't seen it yet. So the more people that like this live, the more it'll get pushed to other people that watch live streams that haven't seen this channel before. That's why.
Yeah.
It's also the algorithms.
Thank you for your sub.
Yes,
subscription support.
We do appreciate it.
And you're right, we do slightly cringe when we say it, but it's a necessary evil.
Yeah,
that's why I always say like and subscribe, because it's
unfortunately we must appease the YouTube gods.
Yeah, they got us by the short and curlies.
Yeah,
speak for yourself.
Moving on.
Yes, Kieran says morning all. Good morning, Kieran. Kerry says morning, Benji.
Yes, he's playing at being Billy Big Balls in the garden with the. He's about this high, and there's a husky next door that's about that high, and Benji thinks he could have him.
Benji is solid whilst he's got a fence between them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's when he gets to the end of the fence and he realizes the panels have ended.
Yeah.
Frank says, Stuart, don't worry, mistakes are part of the hobby. We all do it. We do indeed.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Well, I will be talking about that in a minute.
Yes.
Yes. John, you don't know the half of it yet, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we worked something out before you came on here.
Yes.
Jim says perhaps we should mention the word albatross. Yes.
Yeah, we should.
It was an emotional day yesterday with my albatross.
If it upsets him, mention
it. Tiff says there are 14 watching. Well, there were at the time. There are now 10.
Yeah, it's because I mentioned Biden. Sorry about that. Oh, it just dropped another 4. Oh, what a pity.
Sonic says it helps the algorithm. It does indeed. Jim says morning to Kieran. Frank says, yes, I understand the more likes the better, but do we really need to be told to do it? No offense intended, but I can't help but cringe when people say it, especially within 2-3 seconds into a video. Fair point. Yeah. Yeah, we can always leave it right to the end if it needs to be. I mean, don't have to say it, not say it at all. Doesn't bother me. But yeah, if people prefer we didn't, then we won't.
Yeah.
Frank says this is not aimed at you guys, just your general moan at tubers. Yeah, it's no problem. We find it annoying as well. to be honest.
I hate having to say. So.
What we could do is just get Modmin to constantly type, don't forget to like and subscribe.
That really upset me.
That way it can be Modder's fault, not ours. Kieran says, "Hi Jim, hope you're well." I think that's it for the comments. We've caught up.
Christ, there was a few.
Yeah, there was, wasn't there? Right, so let's get to the techie bit. Let's do your techie bit, Gary. Let's see if you can remember how to do it this time.
All right. Now I've been away for
with your magnifiers on.
Yeah, with my magnifiers on.
Banana.
Hey, right,
Yeah.
Gary. Oh, hang on. I just realised before we do that, Gary, you need to do your FOM4H bit.
Oh, I don't have to be face to camera to do that. I can just quickly mention what Friends of Models for Heroes is all about. We're a IPMS registered club that supports the work that's carried out by Models for Heroes, who supply modelling kits and accessories to veterans, serving members of His Majesty's Armed Forces and the emergency services here in the UK. They do a fantastic job and promote the mental health well-being of ex-servicemen, current servicemen and emergency services.
And women. Yeah.
IPMS registered. We're IPMS registered. We have a Discord server, which is active 24/7. Which like and subscribe is a phrase I hate 24/7. But it costs £12 a month to be a member of Models for Heroes, and that's anywhere anybody can join. You don't have to be a veteran. You don't have to be in the UK. As long as you're into modelling and want to help us support Models for Heroes. We run the Discord. There are people in there every day of the week, and we possibly got some new developments coming along on the Discord site, but more about that at a later date. So yeah, and if you're under 18, it's free.
Yeah.
So there you go. And that's what we do.
What a good spiel.
It is. In
Excellent.
fact, we have a banner to go with it. I keep forgetting about that. Bing. There you go.
All right.
There you go. So, Gary,
yes.
Do you want to explain what we figured out?
Right. Couple of one Mikey knows about.
Actually, may I, before we go on?
2 seconds, guys. Just want to address something in the chat.
Yeah.
It's £12 a year, Frank, not £12 a month.
Oh, sorry. That was £1 a month. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's a slip of the tongue, that.
Yeah.
That's also a house loan in Australia, but carrying on.
Yeah. I've been away for a week.
Yeah.
Okay, so there were a couple of schoolboy errors I've been making with this engine. You may remember.
Let's zoom in on Gary, if you don't mind.
Say again?
Is that okay? Can we zoom in on you, Gary?
Okay.
We can.
You may. Let me just try and focus that a bit better for you. Well, I won't because I can't find the remote now. Where the hell's that gone? Oh, right. So you may remember. It's not focused very well, is it? See if that will do it. There you go.
There you go.
Right, you may remember last week I was having alignment issues with the engine. It was canted over to one side. Okay, a couple of reasons for that. I also had the problem where the exhausts wouldn't fit into the required slot. Both of them were my fault, not the kit's. One, I glued the exhausts on the wrong way round.
Oh.
So they were pointing down instead of up.
Right.
And second, the reason for the engine being canted over slightly was because I'd got one support above the lugs and the other support on the other side below the lugs.
Okay.
So they have now been corrected, and whoa, it fits. So it wasn't the kit's fault. It was totally me being an ass. So there you go.
All right.
The studio.
At least you're not afraid to admit it.
Oh no, that's the whole point of it. The whole point of this is you know you we all make mistakes. It's how you learn.
Yeah.
Jim says, "Doing well, thanks." To Kieran, guys, because Kieran asked him, says, "Hope you're well." Sonic, our Scottish correspondent, says, "Don't forget to like and subscribe." Yeah. Frank says, "Haha."
Problem is now Sonic's going to be doing
Stuart
that
says,
all through the stream.
"Yes, please don't annoy people, Sonic. We know you find that funny." Stuart says, "Laughing my ass off at Sonic." Yeah, we just cleared that one. So Frank said £12 a year. Now that's a bargain, quite a difference. Yeah, it was just a slip. He's getting old, you see.
As Mikey,
It's the old grey matter
me.
deteriorating. I don't remind you that you're old all the time. I just remind you that you're the same age as my dad.
Which is the same thing.
My
The fact that my daughter was 36 last week. Did I hear the front door go?
Oh, yeah. Your daughter's the same age as me now, isn't she?
Yes, there you go. So the front door just went, and it was my daughter coming to pick her mum up.
She's not even your oldest child, is she, Gary?
No, Lee's 39 this year.
Yeah. So yeah, she's only 4 months younger than me.
Yeah, there you go. You think?
Question from Frank. When putting an engine in an aircraft that will never be seen, do you put as much effort into painting said engine, or just do a rough job, or even leave it unpainted?
Do you know what, Frank? That was an excellent question, because I was debating whether to bother at all. Because you can do this with the cowls open and what have you, and engine panels removed, but I'm not doing it. I'm doing it closed up. So, there's been a couple of times and I thought, well, why bother painting it at all? Just do the exhaust. It's the only bit you're going to see. But I know it's there. It's not brilliant. I've not bothered detailing it at all. I've just painted it black and slapped it in there.
And for me to answer, so I recently did the FX Chipmunk, and it has the engine in it. It's I think about 2 pages of instructions worth and stuff like that. So it's got the support frames and separate exhaust manifold and yada yada yada. And I've chosen to have the cowlings closed, but I painted it anyway. So like that, in that it's just simply, well, it was I think a blue grey for most of it. Exhaust manifold a different colour, and the support frame was an interior green. But I haven't gone into detailing or whatever, because all you can see is that little bit there. You can see a little bit of sort of blue grey, and that's it. So the answer is Look, I don't leave it unpainted. I just give it a bit of a once over. And what I did on that one, after it was all in, I just painted the whole thing grey, including that little hole there, and then just got a paintbrush and just dabbed it back inside. So so I don't super detail. There are things, if I think it's going to be fun to do, then I would. But a lot of the time, I don't go to great lengths, putting extra spark plug leads on and that sort of thing.
Guys. Good answer. Well handled.
I just run out of interior green.
Well, that's no use when your plane needs interior green.
Well, it's all right. I think I've got enough to do the...
Okay, so you said it fits, Gary.
Well, it's gone in one side.
Right?
It's gone in one side.
Okay.
Wait till you put the other side on.
Yeah, well, no, ICM have thought of this very cleverly. They've thought of this because when you actually put the two halves together, one half of the nose fuselage points east and the other half points west.
It does. Yeah.
It is a bit of a banana.
Yes, just a little
It
bit.
is mine.
We'll overcome that.
Yeah. No,
one way or
it's
another.
one way or another.
There's
Yeah,
always
so
a thing.
We always do.
that'll fold up. So the way I'm thinking about doing it is the top engine cowl snaps over the rocker covers in a way that it just holds itself in place. So I think that's going to be the first bit I put on, and then build
That's not
around
very
it.
bloody streamlined, is it? Sorry, go on, John.
So yeah,
Must
so
speak up.
once that's glued on there, then I can fit it in, one side of the fuselage, get the seams as small as I can with that, and then move onto the other side and work backwards instead of it's a banana at the front, but just work from the front back because the rear is going to be easier gaps to deal with because they're going to be in the same plane. Whereas, it's the same plane. You know what I mean?
I'm going to mute for a second, guys, because I've got to put the spray booth on.
Okay.
All right.
So that's what I
need
think
some
I'm going to
sand
do,
there.
but how it goes, we'll find out. So before I put the two halves together, I do want to build up the cockpit itself. So we have interior. So that's what I'll be doing today is the Bakelite seat, basically build up the instrument panel and all that sort of stuff. Although that drops in later. I do want to get the sidewalls done. The sidewalls of the cockpit have the throttles and the undercarriage retraction. These are the nitrogen bottles for firing the guns.
Yeah. So we've got more comments. We're doing well for comments today. Sonic says putting them upside down, then having to fix it sounds exhausting. Ha 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 ha. Comedy genius. Jim says Sonic, oh behave. And Steve says, Frank, I'd paint it because I'm bad at painting small things and need the practice. That's a good answer. Because if you're not going to see it again, it doesn't matter if you mess it up. Nope. Jim says, for myself, I would paint the main colours and be done with it. It's interesting to see the difference of opinions on this topic, isn't it? The idea of painting bits you're not going to see. It's like Mr. Child and not painting the underneath of models and things.
Oh, undersided tanks, yes.
Yeah.
Something that I do not agree with.
Kieran says, Frank, often I paint up parts I know I'll never see because I enjoy it. It's also a way of practicing techniques that I will use in places that are more visible. Indeed. And it's a good way of testing that you've got the right mix for your paints and thinners. So next question, or next comment. Steve says, I'm waiting for FedEx today. I've got a large parcel coming from Kinkit, but their tracking is no map. It's just an estimated time, and I needed to go out too. Yeah, I know that feeling. Amazon's not much better. Jim says, Kieran, I did that on an airplane model with a very detailed interior. Built and painted all of it, despite knowing most would not be seen. And Tish saying, don't feed his ego, Mikey. As in Sonic.
Too late. I think, I do things on the inside that won't be seen if I believe I'm going to enjoy it. The moment it's not fun or I struggle with it, I either leave it out completely or it depends on the kit, or I just plug on with it.
See, when I'm doing vehicle kits, I'm more likely to paint the engine because I like doing vehicles. Aircraft, I'm lucky the outside gets painted, let alone the inside.
I'm just looking for an image. There's a kit I did where it had an engine, a built-up engine that goes inside the fuselage, but it didn't fit. It was about a third larger than it should be, and I just left it out totally. Or maybe I just trimmed it to buggery. And
was it one printed by Gary by any chance?
No, it was quality. No.
No, it was quality. Oh, Gary's done my D&D character for me. Yay.
21.
Gordon. That's my D&D character. He's called Gordon Bennett. He's a half-orc.
And I've just spent the last 30 seconds talking to myself.
Oh, I was wondering why you went so quiet.
I was saying, I was hoping that Gordon Bennett, as your character is named, would be with you by now, but events took over and he's still sat on my desk. So
it's all right, mate.
I will be posting it very shortly. I have the box and I have the packaging for it and everything. If you could DM me your address, though, that would help.
Of course.
Thank you. Anyway, enough of the niff-naff and trivia of this. Look, done it. Painted.
Ooh.
Inside has gone. My interior cockpit green is in there. I will be detailing the controls and all that. But that's about it. Because once you close it up, mind you, you might be able to see all of the inside of this one, looking at the way it
bananas.
It goes like that.
With it being an aircraft, even as much as I love the Spitfire as an aircraft, I might just stick my spray gun and go, that's it.
Yeah.
Once I've put the fuselage and that together, just spray everything the same colour.
Oh, so here we go. Talking about engines in aircraft. All right, so there's a couple of fun facts for you. We're talking about Spitfires and the evolution of them coming from the Schneider Cup trophy winner and stuff like that. So what we have there are 3 aircraft models. We've got a 48 scale Spitfire at the front, a 72nd scale Spitfire back there. But the other aircraft is that SE5A, the Schneider Cup winner from 1926. It's in 48 scale as well, so it's the same size as that. Significantly smaller than a Spitfire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, so here's the kit.
Probably significantly lighter because that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a warbird, was it? It was a racing plane.
It was a racer, but let's see. So here we go. So that's how it turned out. Okay, so you could probably see there. It's a W12. It's 3 banks of 4 cylinders each. And there we go. So that's it sitting on the water. Okay. Right, now I showed you that to show you this. If I go back to the build-up of it, couple of photos. Yeah, that's the engine for it. It's a Napier Lion engine, a W12, and that's
Napier,
how it doesn't fit in the in the front. So yeah, that one it doesn't. Yeah, it was never going to fit.
Considerably larger, isn't it?
Yeah, so I didn't bother trimming it down. I just couldn't. I just got rid of it and just glued the propeller onto the front of the fuselage
just put
there.
some weight in the front of them.
It was worth building, but it's a challenging kit. But just because, there you go. You can see all the rigging, the bracing wires around the floats.
Yep.
From the front. The floats spray out at almost like a 40-degree angle, and until you get the wire bracing on, it won't take the weight of the kit, even though it's very light. So soon after, there you go. I took it down to Newcastle to take a couple of photos of it, and the wind caught it, and it flipped over, and I lost a float, and I couldn't stick it back on. So yeah, it just sort of did that, and it's gone to God. It's in a bin.
I was going to say, did it have a burial at sea?
No, it just had a burial in the skip, But there we go.
Quick, John, back to modelling before we get complaints.
Carrying on. Right. So what was I doing? I was going to So I'm putting this is the propeller. Pitch changing oil tank is behind the afterbody assembly, the back of the prop. So that's going on the front there, regardless of what happens with the rest of the kit. So I'll do that. And I'll move on to the interior.
We have a couple more comments. Jim says, Gordon looks just like you, Mikey. I know, he's acing. He's got my beard and everything, and my blue skin. Sonic says, "Can't wait till Tiff finally paints her Warhammer Dragon. It's going to look sick." Oh yes. Stuart says 50 years of D&D and never touched a single piece. Yeah, I haven't. It's not for actually playing it. It's just a model of my character because it's my first ever character. So because we actually play it online as part of the veterans group.
What I'm going to do, while that is drying, and I cannot start detailing the knobs and switches, I'm going to move on to stage 29.
Steve says, "Anyone know how I turn this red heart off? It's blocking and protect and bugging me." Okay.
Yeah, it bugs me as well.
Right, 2 seconds. I will have a look at it for you.
Red heart.
Yeah, where the comments are.
Yeah.
Above where you type in where your comment, there's normally a red heart shows up there for some reason.
Oh.
And if you're trying to read the last comment, it blocks it out. I think it's
I do apologise. I didn't realise that was on there.
Oh, can we get rid of it, or is it a YouTube thing?
It's a stupid. No, it's something I've got to do.
Okay.
So just give me 2 secs, guys, and I will get rid of it.
Yeah, sure.
I do apologise.
So I'm going to leave the oil conditioning, the propeller conditioner tank off. It's just going to get in the way. I'd have to trim it regardless.
B. Oh,
it won't be seen.
There you are, B. Well, interestingly, there are no. Not that you're going to see them anyway. There are no cockpit decals for this.
No.
But you're not going to see it anyway. So I will probably paint them black and dry brush them.
Okay.
And the crowd went wild.
No, yeah.
That's right. 3D printing tubers.
There you go. Should have gone now.
Yeah, should be. Do 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 do. Oh, what do you wanna make those eyes of me for?
Okay.
So I think the girls have gone off to their medical appointments.
Leave that off for now.
So it's just me and the dog at this end, and he's gone very quiet. Which probably means he's asleep. Thank God.
Yeah, so where are we up to with the chat?
I don't know, because I have
says you can't. Damn you, don't interrupt me. I will have obedience. Yeah, right. Okay. Tiff says,
sorry,
you can't. You can't.
Oh, you did it again.
It's the channel owner that turns it on and off. Oh, yeah. Walked into that one. Next.
Shut.
Sonic says, good point, Steve. It annoys me. Yeah, it annoys me as well when people leave it on. I didn't realise. Steve says, oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, like I said, I do apologise. I didn't know it was on. If it was on, if I'd known, I'd have switched off at the beginning. Jim says, no heart here. I'm commenting via my phone. Yeah, it's only on computer.
No, there you go.
It can be a pain. But it sometimes shows up on the phone as well. Steve says, sorry, Mike, he didn't want to cause you any problems. Not at all, mate. He didn't cause any problems. I should have checked when it first started.
And feedback like that is important.
Yes. Constructive feedback is essential. Sonic says, if you have more than one... It's all right.
He hasn't learned,
It's all right.
Mikey.
It's 3 veterans, not Mikey.
Shut up.
It's 3 veterans, not Hair Mikey. Go on.
I've forgotten what I was going to say now due to my age, so carry on.
Brilliant. Sonic says, if you have more than one display, pop out of the chat onto it and widen the chat bit so it doesn't cover it. It's what I do. Yeah, but if he's on his phone, it won't do that. So I don't know, but I've switched it off now, I hope. I mean, if you were seeing it before, can you let me know if it's gone, please? There you go. Tiff says it probably won't disappear till the next stream. I reloaded and it didn't disappear. Well, that's annoying. Yeah, I tried. Jim says 1944 80th anniversaries keep coming. What Allied operation in Normandy launched today? What's the date today?
Ooh, now it might be
20.
Too early for Market Garden?
No, too early for Market Garden. That was in the Netherlands anyway. Would it be Cobra? Operation Vast? No, Vasty was crossing the Rhine. Oh, I should know because I listen to We Have Ways of Making You Talk all the time. Oh, bloody hell.
You're our designated World War II.
Is it Goodwood?
Goodwood.
Is it Goodwood?
I don't know. World War II is far too modern for me.
Yeah, but Gary was there for most of it, so.
Stuart's... yeah, he was air traffic control at Biggin Hill. Stuart says, still on mine, Mikey. Okay. Like I said, I switched it off, so there's nothing I can do about it. But,
thank you.
There you go. Well done, Gary. Steve says, I've done what Sonic said, popped it out onto my second monitor and widened it. Job done. Thanks, Sonic. There we go.
Lovely.
This is why we have a modmin team. There you go. Sonic could be part of the modmin team.
God, don't give him power.
I'm not giving him power, but he could be tech. He could be tech.
Cobra. Okay.
I can make him a YouTube moderator. I could do that.
Cobra.
But interesting.
They all started to lead into one another, didn't they, Jim? You had Cobra and Epsom and all the other ones, and they all sort of ended up merging into, I think, what became Goodwood. I'm not sure. I'd have to read up on it, but
Jim says, Gary, you were right first time. It's Cobra.
Yes.
Oh.
I then talked myself out of it. But there were that many operations going on at the same time with as there would be with an invasion like that. It sometimes, unless you are one of those people that can recount facts and figures and dates and that, bang 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 for someone from a mere mortal like myself, it's like,
unless you're Al Murray.
If you let Al Murray or James Holland, you can just blurt it out. And
that's one of the sketches I love of Al Murray on his stage show. Name a country and we've defeated it.
Yeah.
They just rattle off any country and he just comes up with the exact dates and everything straight away.
Yeah.
Yes. Kieran says, as a user or viewer, you can remove the heart by clicking the 3 dots at the top of the chat window and toggling off on reactions. There we go.
Oh, there you go. See, this is all good stuff.
See, this is why we like the fact we've got a little community going. Kieran says, top, not toop.
I thought he was doing it in the Scottish for Sonic. Toop.
Doing it in Jockanese.
Doing it in the toop.
Stuart says, thank you, Kieran. That worked. Excellent. There we go. We learned something new.
I have learned something there, so that's cool. Then again,
Yeah.
the amount of things I forget every day is a learning thing.
Yeah. Jim says there were many operations in Normandy over the 90+ days of fighting. There was indeed. Sonic says, click on the 3 dots on the chat and click on reactions. Jim says, I'm a regular listener of We Have Ways.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's very good.
And both, and Al Murray is a supporter of Models for Heroes as well.
He is. So's James May and someone else as well.
James May is as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Dermot O'Leary as well.
Dermot O'Leary was at the We
He's
Have
a
Ways
fan.
Fest and came over
Yeah.
to the Models for Heroes tent, whatever it was they were doing there. I'm so
Yeah.
gutted I missed that.
So did
Tiff
I.
says, "Can
B11. Oh, he's gone quiet.
Is he frozen again? Quick! Party! Dun, 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 dun. He'll be back in a minute, so calm it down.
No, that sounds,
So
game show. Like,
apparently Tiff says you can't do that on a mobile.
yeah, don't do music, guys."
he's back. Oh,
He's back.
Hmm.
He's back.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a rather large.
Well, that's interesting.
is it?
Is it really?
Yes, it is. Sonic says, "Grr, caps."
Oh, I've just upped my camera. Oh, it's all gone wrong. Oh,
Now we're seeing Gary's
health teeth. What are
bottle
we
caps.
looking at there?
Steve says, "I'm starting my first ever mini art kit next." Oh my dear God, God help you!
Oh,
I fear for my sanity as I know of their reputation. Yes, you could have picked one with slightly less than 1,000 parts. But,
yeah.
There is
I'll
no
finish-
such mini art kit that exists that hasn't got 1,000 parts.
Oh, I finished one a couple of weeks ago, and I've lost. I've lost a bit.
I know,
The thing is,
Steve. Was it? It was me.
Okay, yeah,
Was it Steve that mentioned that about mini art?
I can't remember.
I'll
Kay
grab
saying
mine.
it was me
You won't
because
believe what I've lost.
Kay saying it was me because just as I froze, I heard our intro coming from the living room. So Kay must have been just coming onto the live.
Right.
Our intro. How cool does that sound?
Our intro.
Jim says, "Steve, what kit? Take your time, mate. Just some friendly advice." Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. He's doing the coal lorry, isn't he?
Oh,
He's
that
got ahead.
looks such a good kit.
Yeah, he's doing the coal lorry. So jealous. I
Looking
want to
for
do that one.
today. It was in my local store. It's not. I looked today. It's not there anymore. So I've done the Calibri, the Flatner 282. I did that a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Now here's the thing. It has 2 rotor blades, contra-rotating. I've lost one. Can you believe I've lost something that is?
Was that a burp I just heard?
No, that was me going.
Oh, right.
35 centimeters long, and I've lost it.
Well, I can remember
How
a
did you
time.
lose it?
I
took
can
it to the
remember a
local
time
model club.
when John lost an entire fuselage.
Half, yeah.
True.
You're right.
So-
But anyway, yeah.
It's not unheard.
Jim says, "Mini art rhymes with multi-part." It does indeed.
I must admit, I did Mini Art's first ever foray into aircraft. I did their P-47
Mm-hmm.
Thunderbolt in 1/48 scale. That was a dream of a kit. It was really nice. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a few parts.
I built I think 2 of their kits, but the first one didn't have many parts at all. That was a
He says, "Lol."
Triebflügel.
Ooh, have I got a parcel, Kaylee?
Well, when haven't you?
Let's go a bit of light gold grey.
Shabadoo, shabadoo, badoo, badoo. Shooby dooby doop boop boop.
Oh.
I'm going to have a few sub-assemblies, I think, going on here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So will I.
Because, well, actually, the cockpit sidewalls have dried now, so I can start detail painting the knobs and switches.
My new paintbrushes have arrived.
Oh, very nice. Is that from a well-known Chinese
My
shopping
new
shop?
little tiny cotton buds to clean my spray gun.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I need more of those.
I'm still waiting for my 2 terabyte hard drive to be delivered. For my many STL files I've downloaded recently.
Oh, I could have sworn you were about to say porn files.
You seem to be fascinated with porn files.
No, not really.
At my age, I can't remember what to do anyway, so I don't need to watch anything like that. It does nothing for my blood pressure.
Although you do like a good stroke, apparently.
And my idea of a hot night in is a cup of cocoa and a couple of digestive biscuits.
Yeah.
Under a blanket with carpet slippers.
As you say, he does like a good stroke occasionally, but he's only had 2. So,
Yeah, I've only had 2, and I really don't want any more, thank you.
No.
Didn't enjoy either of them.
Kaylee says, if you're a good boy, Mikey, you can get the coal lorry. Not for that price, I'm not getting it. If I can find it, like an attic find in my local scale model shop, then yeah, great, I'll get it. But I'm not going to.
What am I thinking? About £40?
I think it's more than that. Jim says, good morning, Kaylee.
Kaylee in the house.
Yeah, it is more than £40. It's 300 weight, isn't
it? Stuart says, only just found out the P on American plane stands for pursuit.
Yes. And B for bomber.
That's why.
Because it wasn't obvious by looking at the plane.
Yeah.
Well, no,
so
because
World War II,
I think
when the United States Air Force started and formed, as opposed to the United States Army Air Force, that's why the P-51 became the F-51.
Yes.
Because it was a fighter.
Yes. Because the theory behind it was that they were defensive in nature, so they would pursue the enemy aircraft, therefore the P.
Yeah. Plastic Alchemist is in. He says, good morning, chat and panel. Good morning, Plastic Alchemist.
Good morning,
Mr. Have you with
Plastic
us?
Alchemist.
Right, well, just trying to put your teeth in, old man.
What have I done now?
You're not doing anything to help the situation, are you?
I don't know what I've done.
That's the point. Stuart says, morning, Plastic Alchemist. Good Lord. What the hell was that just dropped through the letterbox? Postman come back again?
It was a BIM.
A BIM.
I hope not. It made a racket, whatever it is.
Postman Pat's Welsh, isn't it?
Jim says, Pursuit was a pre-war Army Air Corps designation for fighter planes. It changed, I believe, early in World War II. Cool. Plastic Alchemist says, "Hey, Stuart." Kate says, "Hi, Jim." Tiffany says, 47.69 on scale model world for the coal lorry. Yeah. I didn't pay
not a
that
bad
much
guess,
for
was it?
my Meng A7V,
47.
which has got a full interior.
That's not cheap, is it? That's not
Like I said, I got my Meng A7V, which is 135 with a full interior. I got that for 40 quid on a sale. So,
Yeah, but it has a full interior, as in, like, you build everything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Whereas the coal lorry doesn't have anywhere near as much parts in it.
Well,
it probably does.
Yeah, my Ryefield Models MRAP. My Ryefield Models MRAP has been out of the box 3 times. It's got that many parts to it. I've got literally burnt out with it 3 times, and it's still not finished.
Yeah. If it wasn't so expensive, I would suggest that one of the builds we do is a Model 1 button.
Oh, a Model 1?
I thought they were all Model 1s. Has he frozen again? Party!
Yeah. So he's had a stroke now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the price of the kit. You never know.
Yeah. Either that or Kaylee's gone onto Amazon and it's froze his system. His system's gone into
Encourager.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Shh.
Somebody get rid of the dancing girls.
I can't hear what's being said when I freeze, right?
Well,
and no singing, Gary.
No singing. I tried not to sing that time.
Oh, I couldn't help it.
Tiff says, "Thank you, Jim." Tiff says, "Morning, Plastic Alchemist." And Plastic Alchemist says, "Hello, Tiffany." And Dances with Aardvarks in says, "Good morning, just about."
Who?
Yeah. With 5 minutes ago, and he commented.
Well, I love that.
Tiffany says, "Morning, Dance." What? What do you think?
I said, I love that name, Dances with Aardvarks.
So
I know. I love the picture as
Gary
well.
wasn't here when we met him the other day.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. You weren't here, were you?
No, I was...
you were skiving.
I was having a battle of my own somewhere quietly.
Yeah. Scalpel nearly rolled off my desk and onto my leg then. Yeah. Could have had an instant like Peaches.
So you're breaking up. Can you say that again, Mikey?
I said my scalpel was rolling off my desk then and nearly went into my leg.
Oh.
Said that I could have had an instant like Peaches then.
Yes, that was a sight not to be seen.
Yeah.
And he dropped his trousers live on a hangout
Discord.
To then super glue his stabbed leg together.
Yeah.
I need to do.
Jim says £47.69. Blimey, that's over $50 American, or $300 in Australian.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much double for Aussie dollars. Yeah.
Dances Aardvark says, "Hi, Tiffany."
I think that's a brilliant name. Dances with
Jim says, "Academy has introduced a combination kit of a PZ1 and a motorcycle with figures for $33 American, a surprisingly competitive price for a new kit." Indeed.
Yeah. Wow.
Jim says, "Good morning, Dances," and Dances with Aardvark. Hi, I do like that name. That is such a cool name.
I know.
Where the hell did you come up with that?
I think it's a spin-off of Dances with Wolves.
Ooh, quite possibly. Dances with Aardvarks is so much cooler.
Not quite as cool. Not quite as cool as Dances with Young Nubile Naked Blondes. Sorry. Sorry.
None of that on air, please.
Oh,
that's for after
what
we
you do
turn
in
off the
private
cameras.
time, just in case it gets misconstrued. Because there's always someone that will manipulate stuff that's said online.
I knew misconstrued.
There's always one, and it's always you. We're an hour in.
We are indeed.
Put
As
that
the
comment up.
refuge used to say, indeedly mould in the uttermost.
Dances with Aardvark says no. Dances with Wolves was Hollywood's attempt at telling my story, but Aardvarks weren't considered cool enough.
Oh, right.
like
Got
that.
it.
Oh,
Got it.
that's
Aardvarks is
the best comment I've heard
obviously
today.
a man with the same sense of humour as I have.
No, his is good.
Sonic says, at the third stroke, the time sponsored by Craft Jurist.
Can you not say third stroke around me?
We've gone up to 13 people viewing.
Because I
Kelly says,
haven't
are you
mentioned
aiming that at
the
me,
press in a
Michael?
while.
Am I aiming what at you, darling? What? No, I was just reading the comments out. Not aiming anything at you, darling.
Domestic.
Jim says, Dancing with Aardvarks, when I see your name, I can't help but think of the old Anton Aardvark cartoons of my youth. I remember Arthur the Aardvark when I was a kid. Back.
When I was a kid, it was Hector's House.
When you were a kid, it was the
Hector's House and Pogle's Wood. The days
when
before
you were a
Mary
kid, it was a
Poppins.
Scotsman going, is it working? Is there a picture coming through? I'm a genius. I've invented the television.
There's nothing on but repeats.
Yeah, I'm the only one on telly. Dances says, the emoji I'm using is from that Jim. It's a spin-off from the Pink Panther. Oh, yeah, I thought it looked familiar.
Oh, yes.
Very good.
Tiff says, thank you for the sub to my channel, Plastic. It is nice when people sub through other channels. I feel it is cool. Kaylee says, Popeye the Sailor Man. Ooh, ooh. That's because we were watching the trailer for the new Popeye film last night.
Oh, okay.
With
Okay,
Seth playing Popeye for some reason.
So, I'm using reference for painting the interior of the Spitfire. I'm using Qatari's instructions for their Mark 1 because it's pretty well detailed, I must say. So, you know, the difference would be in the details. But yeah, what they have done, apart from show you all the,
have you ever thought of
bits
turning
and
your
pieces,
camera the right way up?
colours. No. Yeah, but they've colorized it there and shown the sidewalls and the things that are going on there. There's not much difference between a Mark 1 and a Mark. Yes.
Have you ever thought of turning your camera the right way up instead of trying to turn everything around all the time?
I can't.
It's the way he's got it fixed.
Yeah.
I'm
in the southern hemisphere.
Can't help the way he's made, can he?
No, I'm 20 years behind you guys.
Go on, John. What were you saying?
Well, I can't remember now.
Oh, welcome to my world. The herbs. The herbs.
And you wonder why I call you too old.
Yeah, so I was just saying, yeah, the sidewalls, they're pointing out like this is, obviously, every one of these little ovals here is a separate decal. So there's a lot of detail in these, but yeah, obviously I'm not expecting that much in this kit, but you know, things will be roughly the same color as that, and you can't really go wrong.
Cool.
Parsley.
Now, can we get back to our lovely audience? Cool.
Okay.
Steve says, Hector's house was good, but not as good as the Herbs. I loved Sage the Owl because he was a grumpy little sod like me.
Yeah, and Parsley the Lion.
Oh, that's one you'll remember, Gary, the Herbs, isn't it?
Yeah, I do. Parsley the Lion.
There we go.
Yeah. And then there was Tufty, The Tales of the Riverbank. That was very good.
Sonic says, "I'm Scottish. I don't talk like that, Mikey." Yes, but if we spoke like you, Sonic, we'd need subtitles, and YouTube don't provide them until you've actually recorded the show. Love you, really, Sonic. Dances says, "Lol." Jim says, "Dances, yes, I see it now." Haha. Plastic says, "You're welcome at TIFF. Always happy to support the community." Excellent.
Fantastic.
Sonic says that new movie is a travesty. Crapping on the memory of Robin Williams like that. His Popeye was brilliant. It was indeed.
That's the problem with a lot of new movies now. Shall we call them remakes or remasters, or basically remakes? They're rubbish. I watched the new Midway. Well, it was when I watched it, and it was appalling. It was nowhere near as good as the 1972 version. It was the most gung-ho, unreal piece of trash that I've ever watched in my life. Just put that.
I've not seen it.
Oh,
the better looking Marley's in the house. He says, "Down under camera."
Yeah. Huzzah.
Ooh,
He gets it.
Jim says the ant sounded like Dean Martin and the aardvark talked like a Jewish man from Brooklyn, New York. Interesting. Can't say I've heard either, to be honest. Dean Martin, I might have heard. But, Dances with Aardvark says, I'll have to watch a few episodes as a refresher. The joys of YouTube. Kaylee says, "What have I done?" You haven't done anything, darling, as far as I know. As far as I'm aware, you're just sat in the living room, enjoying yourself. Sonic says, "What, Mikey? We need subtitles from Welsh." Except I'm speaking English.
Yes. There's just not enough consonants to do that.
Yes. It is quite funny, though, because one of the things I can do is, once this show's finished, is I can go into YouTube Studio and I can actually download the transcription from the show.
Oh.
And you want to see some of the stuff it thinks you're saying. It's hilarious. I might put that into one of the quizzes one day.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, just
Who
for
said
that
this?
then, I'll say Gumaraka, Woolloomooloo, Parramatta, Wobbegong, and
you did that on Monday, so I might go back and look at the transcription for Monday to see what it comes up with.
Yeah.
Billabong.
And Wakachangi.
Jim says, "Paul Marley." Good morning, Paul. Dances Vardvark says, "I like the clangers, Ivor the engine, and Noggin the nog."
And Nog Bad the Bad.
Steve says, "Dances with Aardvark, same here. I'm a huge Oliver Postgate and Peter Furman fan." I have no idea who they are.
Oliver
Anyone care
Postgate.
to explain it to me? Tiff says, "You should do a video of the funny stuff the transcript says." Interesting.
Am I going completely la-la, or didn't you just say that?
No, what I said was, I think you are going completely large. So I said I might put them as questions in some of the quizzes.
Oh, right. Sorry, yeah.
Like a who said this section.
Okay. All right, yeah.
Um,
Obviously, I am needing my medication.
Sonic said, "I loved it when Lee Evans put on a Scottish accent and calls someone a clanger." Dances Aardvark says, "Thanks, Steve." Sorry, go on.
Al Murray does that routine as well.
Does he?
Yeah.
I think my favourite Al Murray one is the one where he's talking about Marines.
The Marines.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, when he's doing a sketch about the Marines, how in the British Army, everything's done on a job name description basis.
All right.
So we have Royal Engineers for putting out traffic codes. We have the Royal Military Police for policing the traffic. We have the Royal Air Force for flying planes. Whereas when we went into Iraq, the first people the Americans called were the Marines, the water soldiers, to go and fight in the desert. Yeah, Dancis says, thanks, Steve. I was trying to remember Oliver Postgate's name.
Yeah, he did Over the Engine. Wasn't it Oliver Postgate that did all that?
I don't know. I wasn't born there.
I'm sure it was.
Stuart says Captain Pugwash was risque with the characters like Seaman Staines. Yeah.
Oh, so that's
It's
the first
funny
British
how
children's show I've heard of.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's funny how people who A aren't British and B are always say they're too old to remember certain things, always manage to remember Captain Pugwash.
I didn't say I
on
can
the
remember
ABC.
Captain Pugwash. Stuart said that. That was me. And they did bring out a new version of Captain Pugwash when I was a child, when I was an older child.
What,
Around
last
the same
week?
time they brought out Bob the Builder and things like that.
Bob the Builder.
And they took out all the risque names. Because they cottoned on to what it was. Steve says, Stuart, that's a myth and not true. And Sonic says, Master Bates. Haha. My old admin officer was called Captain Bates, which we used to find hilarious.
How unfortunate.
Yeah. He was a lovely bloke, though. One of the best officers I ever had. Dance with Arvark says, we can't forget Mr. Ben, of course.
And suddenly the shopkeeper appeared. Hang on, need to do a quick blast of.
He's blowing his trumpet.
All right. This next bit is going to require something more.
To extract some fumes, sorry. No, I hadn't broken wind.
I need to grab a beer to do this bit. Back in a mo.
Yeah, it's a bit early for me.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely too early for me. I've got to drive yet.
Well, after my second stroke, the DVLA said, no more driving for you, sir. Which is great, because I can go out and get wazzed every night now if I want to, and Marion has to drive me in.
I'm wondering if it might be an idea to put the base at the bottom of the wing onto the fuselage before I start putting the cockpit in, so that it's got
the cockpit goes in from underneath.
Not a good idea.
I'm sure. Let me just
it does.
confirm that.
You pre-assemble it.
Yeah. So that's
Scrap that idea.
Yeah.
But I would suggest taking it off the sprue so that which parts need cleaning up on the fuselage, because there's quite a bit of flash to clear up. But not all of the flash looks like flash. Some of it looks like ridges that are there.
All right.
Joints.
Yeah, you've got the same on the underneath of the fuselage as well, if you look.
Yeah. Sonic says, I love the wee plasticine guy more.
He was good.
Dan says, quick trivia question. It's Friday night, it's 5 o'clock, and it's
Crackerjack.
There we go. Knew the old guy would get it.
As we used to say, cracking axe.
Ooh, sounds like a euphemism. Steve says, more. Yes. I think he first appeared in Tony Hart's Vision On. I love that.
It was done by Tony Hart, wasn't it? I used to hate
Interesting.
that.
Used to hate Tony
You
Hart.
hated Tony Hart?
I hated Vision On and that music that I can't sing.
Yeah.
Otherwise Mikey tells me off.
Yeah. I Dancy says, I think Morph has appeared in some of YouTuber Jazz's videos. Interesting. Sonic says, showing our age. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, have you seen the guy that does Postman Pat on YouTube? Rude guy. He's actually he's coming off.
Leave YouTube, hasn't he?
He's leaving YouTube and he's set up his own website now.
Free website. He's very funny.
Yeah.
And he does all the voices himself, doesn't he?
Yeah. And he does some. I mean, he does Postman Pat. He does Fireman Sam, but he also does things like Star Trek and other. Very funny.
Yeah. I am a fan. Very grown up humour.
Yeah.
That's definitely one for Jim to check out. He'll love it.
Not for the young children.
No.
So you reckon you take the underside off the sprue?
Underside of what, sorry?
I think you were away getting a beveragino. Mikey reckons it's a good idea to take the underwing section off the bloody hell. Oh, got confused there. The underwing section became part of the bloody sprue. Off and just test fit the fuselage to it to see where you need to do cleanup.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll do that now.
Oh, fiddlestick. Wrong part. Yes, Sonic says showing our ages here now. Stuart says you won a Cracker Jack pencil.
Yeah. Didn't they do a prize thing at the end called Cabbages and Kings? Was that correct?
Dancy says, haha, rude guy's hysterical. He is indeed. It's impressive. Have you listened to the interview he did?
No, I haven't listened to the interview, but I did see
he does all the voices himself. And he said his missus gets quite freaked out sometimes because she sits upstairs watching telly and she switches it off and all she can hear is like a full-on conversation with like 5 or 6 people going on downstairs. And then she remembers that he's recording an episode. because he does every single voice himself. He has to have conversations with himself doing the different voices.
Just like a normal day in my house.
You got to wonder if there's some sort of personality disorder there, haven't
you? Not sure about this.
Stuart says, remember the song Star Trekking Across the Universe?
Yes.
Yes.
Going back to Crackerjack. Crackerjack was BBC. On ITV, they had Magpie. Now, the only reason to watch Magpie was for Jenny Hanley.
Who's that?
She was the blonde presenter of Magpie.
Oh, like that, was it?
Yes.
Like Cat Dealey in the 90s.
Before you got the the.
Dances with Arvac says, do you remember how with Fred Dinage and Jack Hargreaves? Yes, that was still running when I was a kid.
Yeah, Fred Dinage is still around. He was still doing. I think
he did true crime documentaries, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's not long retired from one of the southern news channels, in the UK, and he looks no different than he did then. And Jack Hargreaves, when I was a kid, he used to do a series called Out of Town, where it was all about him sitting in a shed and fishing and things like that.
Dances. Oh no. Yeah, I've already read that one. Sonic says, "Funny how in Sam it was always the ginger kid with glasses causing trouble." Norman.
Norman.
There's actually a proper Welsh version of that as well. It's called Santan, which is Sam Fire in Welsh. But obviously it's on S4C, which I didn't watch as a kid because it wasn't around then, the channel. Jim said, "Forgot to ask, how are you feeling today, Mikey? Is your back better or at least less painful?" It's better before I sat down, ish. As for less painful, I don't know until I try to stand up. But at the minute, it is starting to get the muscles starting to tighten up again. So it could be that my back goes a little bit. But last couple of days, I've had to walk around using a walking stick because of it.
You will need to
I've not been able to get around the house without a walking stick.
Flying helmet.
What?
So you will need a rub down with the wet celery and the flying helmet.
Ah.
Is that from Hello Hello?
It is from Hello Hello. Well done, John.
Speaking of which, guess what kit I've got on my stash? I was looking at it last night.
Let me guess. I don't really know already. Cafe Rene.
I have got a laser cut front for Cafe Rene because I've already planned the diorama I'm going to do. But I've actually got the SDKFZ 222, which is the same as the one that was used in the film.
Lieutenant Gruber's little tank.
Yeah. Sonic says, "Rude guy is Welsh." He is indeed. Stuart says, "Magpie was ITV challenged to Blue Peter."
I'm gonna have to look up Rude Guy. Is that the name of the channel? Rude Guy.
Yeah, Rude Guy.
So,
yeah.
so if I do Postman Pat Rude Guy, it'll find it.
Very funny.
We'll just do Rude Guy.
Basically, if you imagine British kids' cartoons, but done in a very adult way.
Yeah, but a lot of his YouTube videos have been taken down by YouTube, so you might need to go to his new website.
Yeah. Jim says, "Question: is it possible to assemble the Spitfire fuselage without the engine?" Yeah,
that's what I'm considering doing right now. In fact,
do you know what? I can't see this going together.
No, I'm not committed to glue yet because I'm trying to get it.
No, I'm just playing around, and I can't see how that's gonna.
It's close enough, but it's got like a millimeter gaps here and there, and it's not great.
Well, that's just not the bloody. Yeah, Muttley.
That's how I imagine Benji sounds when you won't let him do stuff.
Oh yeah.
Dances says they are rerunning Out of Town now.
Really? My God, I bet that's cringeworthy to watch now. I mean, I did used to like it when I was a kid, but wow.
They're thinking of putting the Merlin engine in a model Bentley, Jim. Oh, you thinking of putting a Merlin engine in a model Bentley, Jim? Gotcha. I thought you meant they were on about doing that on the show. I thought interesting. Sonic says, "Speaking of rude words on TV shows, if Frank Spencer swore, it would be even funny." It would.
I don't think it would. I disagree. I think Frank Spencer. I don't know. Okay.
Whatever floats your boat, mate.
Dances with Hardbox says, Is a Supermarine Spitfire different than a normal Spitfire?
John?
I don't think they are. No.
Well,
John's our Spitfire expert.
It's just who made it, isn't
Supermarine
it?
is a manufacturer. Yeah. Well, soon after, or Supermarine, very soon. The original designer was Reginald Mitchell.
Supermarine.
RJ Mitchell.
Supermarine. Yeah. So soon after they built a new facility up north, Castle Bromwich, and it was the guy Lord Nuffield who owned Morris. Had basically, had the factory built and all that sort of stuff like that. But Vickers pretty much took over Supermarine, but it's still always known as a Supermarine Spitfire because that's what it was when it started.
Perfect. Okay. Sorry, I was just that bit that goes around the firewall.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a time to drop out. Oh, we're in suspense.
You've left us all hanging.
Oh, yeah. That bit goes around the firewall, yeah. Yeah, Mikey, yeah.
Come on, Mikey, tell us. Tell me. Hey.
So I've cut it off and I've just glued it along the ridge there, and it just fits.
All right, yeah.
So I just need to. I'll just need to put a little bit of filler in the gap there.
I cannot see. I genuinely cannot see how these two halves are going to go together.
Yeah, it is a challenging build, that's for sure.
I think the idea of taking the engine out is possibly going to happen.
I reckon I'm going to leave mine in just because I'm a glutton for punishment.
Because John wants to prove you wrong.
No, not that at all. It's just, other people must have built it with the engine in, and I will see what's required in order to help other people watching at a later date.
All right, I can sort of get it closer.
Yeah, look, it's close enough, but
there you go.
Yeah, you need about 4 hands.
Oh, come on, focus, you stupid. Right, there you go.
He's done it.
Pretty much, yeah. It does go on. Of course, what you can do is sand the sides of the firewall down. That would help.
Yeah. I don't think the firewall's too wide. Right, certainly not for me. I think
it is. That's what's causing a bit of the width problem.
See, I can get. Issues.
Well, if you've got issues, grab a tissue. Dry your eyes, princess.
Dry your eyes, princess, and open a can of man up, princess.
Yeah, dry your eyes and man up, princess. Jim, we're up to, I think.
Say again?
There you go. Dances, haha, not quite, but it does sound like a good idea. Now, only if I had a Bentley. There is a Bentley kit you can get. ICM do one. I
think Spitfire do. Spitfire. I think Airfix do an old one.
Yeah.
Do 1 to 12, 24. I think it's 1 to 12 scale.
Sonic says, I swore whilst doing my Frank Spencer and had people in stitches.
I laughed.
A moment never to be forgotten in Free Veterans history.
Yes. All repeated.
Those famous words that Mikey's fearful of now. Sonic, you read out the comments.
Yeah. Notice I haven't said it since. Tiffany says, link for you, John, for Rude Guy in the private chat of StreamYard.
Oh, thank you. Well done.
Isn't our modmin good?
She's a good egg, is our modders.
She is. Dancy says, Castle Bromwich is only a few miles away from me. Now I know why it has a Spitfire Island. Yes.
It's not that far from me.
That was a very high-pitched yes then, Gary.
I get very excited sometimes.
Like a small child.
The problem with now I can get the engine exhaust to fit quite nicely without the engine. So I'm erring, I tell you. No, titter ye not. That I might take the engine out completely.
Yeah, do it that way if you want. Why not?
Which is 2 weeks'
different ways of
work
building
down the Swanee.
No, you can put it on a display next to it, next to the pilot.
No, then I would have to do more detailed work on it. We're going back to where we started now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay, I forgot I got the pilot to do as well, haven't I? Crap.
Yeah. You could always put your 1/100th engine in there.
Yeah, which I still have somewhere knocking about. There it is.
It's that small you can't find it.
It was my first attempt at rescaling something in with my 3D printing story. It was a 1/24th Merlin engine, and I decided I could rescale it to 1/48th. Apparently I couldn't, because that's how it came out.
Did you not put a scale converter up?
Yes, I did, and it said, and when you think about it, it's absolutely right. You for 1/24th to 1/48th, it's multiplied by 0.5.
Okay, but there's that. I've got an app on my phone where you literally just put the size and the scale it's in.
Yeah, this was on yeah, this is on a website. And I've since used the same website to successfully resize
Scale.
other things.
So could it be that you possibly put the wrong information in?
No.
No,
unless the original file isn't 1/24th after all, like they said.
Yeah. Dancy says, and a pub called the Spitfire.
That makes sense.
And a beer called Spitfire.
Yes. And Dancy says, I did a course at Michael Crawford's stunt school in the 80s. Cool. Sonic says, nice one. Dance with Advax. Did you get to meet him?
I could just see Sonic asking that question in the voice.
He says, Sonic, no. Dancy says, yes, DJ, he was the instructor. Met him again when he was in Phantom of the Opera. Interesting. Sonic says, think I lost us a sub after that. Yes. Maybe more than one. Sonic says, I'm jealous now. We've still got 11 people watching, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We
Carrie Ann's here.
Really do appreciate it.
Hello, Carrie Ann.
She?
Yeah, she's just come
Hello,
back.
Carrie Ann.
She's been to the doctors to give blood. Apparently, to quote Tony Hancock, that's nearly an armful. I'm going to look lovingly at my daughter.
Why? What are you after?
Who loves her father dearly.
I'm looking for a quote. This is Leo McKinstry's book on the Spitfire. So production started Southampton, which obviously is on the southern coast of England, right on the water, because supermarine by its very nature is the opposite of submarine.
Well, it's also where our friend Adi lives and works, because he works on the docks in Southampton.
Yeah, he lassoes ships for a living.
Supermarine
pulling
originally
with the
built
hairs on his chest.
seaplanes. Right. So here's the thing: it had a very small factory, and it was bombed a lot by the Germans and all that sort of stuff. But the main reason they moved the production so far north and up and inland was what they found is they had early production problems trying to get Spitfires made, because some parts would fit one day but they wouldn't fit another. And after a few months, what a guy just found was the tide affected it. So when the tide was up, the concrete floor would move slightly one way or another. It would swell, and all the rivet holes would line up when the tide was down. But when the tide was up and they're trying to then put the rivets in the holes, they wouldn't fit anymore. So that's the main reason they moved production.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Nor did I.
Nor did I. So once again,
So you're on the way back.
learning has taken place. Right. I have
What are you
removed
thinking?
the engine.
You have?
Yes.
I'm going to carry on and do mine, but I will regret it, I'm sure. I think it'll go, but there'll be big
Not
gaps.
true what the others say about you. The camera's down there. So. No.
Morgan
It's the
wants
hand
to
of
go
Carrie
on.
Ann.
Hello, Carrie Ann.
Hello.
The person that gives me the reason to call Gary old.
Oh yes, he's very old.
Give me my coffee now. Get
After
out.
all, he is the same age as my father, and I am the same age as you.
Exactly, they're old.
Yes, very young.
We are young. We run free. Oh, I can't sing that, can I? Oh, for God's sake.
What is it with you?
I just want to sing.
What's
You're
wrong with you?
senile or something.
Look, if I want to go senile, I'll go senile.
I was born senile, okay?
It's my right to be senile.
Yep. Sonic
This
says,
is-
Resus, they're monkeys, aren't they? I don't want an empty arm or an empty anything.
Fair enough.
Well, yeah. There's some things you want emptying from time to time, but we're not going to mention
Moving
them, are
along swiftly.
we? Yes, you're learning. Sonic says, we're not all Rob Roys, you know. I don't get that. I'm not old.
You'd have to be very old to understand Rob Roy.
Is it a guy that had his wallet stolen?
Rob Roy, Scottish hero. You know, like William Wallace. Mel Gibson to you, Mikey.
Yeah. Or as you called him back in the day, Old Bill. Because you're so old. The better looking Marley says, brilliant book that, John. Lent
It
it
really
me.
is.
I'll have you know, I called him Young Bill.
You called him Uncle Bill. Jim says,
I bought.
what were the advantages? Sorry?
I was going to say. Leo McKinstry's book Spitfire. He's written one on the Lancaster, and I picked up the hard copy, the actual book version of his book on the Hurricane the other day on Sunday. So now I have the set.
Yeah. Jim says, what were the advantages of the elliptical wing design as opposed to the Hurricane or the BF-109? It made them more maneuverable in the air.
Yeah.
And it was even more maneuverable when they clipped the end tip off it.
So Spitfire pilots used to say you only had to think about the turn and the aircraft did it for you.
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching one documentary on the Battle of Britain, and there's this guy, and you could tell he was a big guy in his day, big F, not fat, but built like a brick outhouse. And he said you didn't so much fly the Spitfire, you strapped it on and took off.
Yeah. I'd imagine so. And I think what we all forget is all you'd have is a smell of hot oil and fuel and stuff because you're sitting right immediately behind the fuel tank and stuff like. It's going to be not like you'd expect an aircraft to. They're not comfortable, I'm sure. So yeah,
Jim
the main
says,
thing with the wing.
I just read that. Go on.
It's not necessarily the elliptical shape that did it, but it made it more difficult to manufacture. That's for sure. But because the wing was tapered, it was almost like having a swept wing at the leading edge. So the further out it went, the further swept it was. So yeah, at transonic speeds, which is when you're getting into the area of high stresses and turbulent air and everything else. The main difference between the Spitfire wing and the Hurricane wing was the Hurricane wing was really solid, really fat, but that made it a really good gun platform. So if you fired all the guns together on a Hurricane, it'll just sit there and point where you're shooting and everything else. Whereas reading about the Spitfire doing the same thing, it would dance around and just sort of like bounce everywhere. And it wasn't a solid sort of strafer for ground attack. But it made it a lot more maneuverable up high.
Cool. Dancy said, one of my customers. Hang on, you've basically just spent 10 minutes explaining what I explained in one sentence. Oh, I think the stepson's here. Sorry, Kate can get it.
You know what? Let it go. A bit of super glue. Where's my super glue? Oh, bought some new super glue today. Hooray me. Has to do the rigging of the camel. Where's my black stuff? Oh, there. Oh, is Mikey gone quiet again, or is he just not talking?
Back in 2 secs, guys. Just got to move my car.
Sure.
All right. Right then, what mischief can we get up to? That much, huh? Okay.
No, I'm just again looking for another photographic reference of like the best thing about the Spitfire wing shape. Well, there's a lot of obviously there's a lot of structural differences between the Hurricane. It was easy to fix battle damage because a lot of it was tubular in design with just a cotton skin over the top of Egyptian cotton and everything else.
That's right.
But the Spitfire was a lot harder to manufacture. But the best thing about the wing was how it was made. In that the main spar was like that. So they had a square bit of metal, and then they put that inside a larger channel of metal, which is a bit longer, and then a larger channel of metal, which is a bit longer, and went on like that. So the further out the main spar of the wing was, the more flexible it was at the wingtip, but the more rigid it was on the inside where it really mattered. And having that design there was, I still think it's one of the most ingenious things that came out of the Second World War.
Mm.
The original Mitchell was bloody good. Like the amount of design that went into the floats for the S6 racer, the Schneider Cup winner, was just incredible.
Yeah. And sadly, he never lived to see his aircraft that he designed. Do what it was designed to do.
Yeah. He did watch a prototype fly, but died very painfully very soon after. Yeah. Poor bugger. With anal cancer. It's got to be one of the worst ways to go, I'd imagine.
really getting close. I might be air testing this Spitfire out the window soon.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, look, I'm getting the same vibe. You know, I am not a stranger to plastic kits.
I
but
never,
this is
ever,
not that much
ever,
fun.
apart from one kit, have I ever given up on a
Hi
kit.
guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Mike's just nipped to take the car out,
Okay.
That's fine.
so
We
he asked me
can.
to come and chat to you guys. I don't know what to say.
Don't worry.
That's all right, Kay. It's all good.
I haven't
How are you
slept
doing?
the whole
What are you
night.
working on at the moment, Kay? What are you building at the moment?
Well, that truck that I built, it's gone a bit off scale, so Mike's going to sort it out for me.
That's all right. It's your first ever kit, so
Yeah,
it was looking
I
good.
think I've done well, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at your the Schwimmwagen and the truck, and I thought they were really, really,
Oh, great.
really good, considering that they were your first model kits. So well done, you. But
Thanks.
don't ever do this Spitfire.
I've got a Spitfire to.
It's not an ICM one, is it? Is it Airfix?
It's in the red box.
Airfix. You're
Yep.
all right.
Yeah.
You'll be all right with that.
Perfectly good build.
Yeah.
For a new person, I wouldn't recommend this kit.
No.
Here he
Yeah,
comes. Bless him.
for an experienced person, I wouldn't recommend this kit.
You're right, Mike. Right.
Okay.
I'm
You can
Well,
see Carol Morgan.
Either I'm having another stroke or someone's boiling eggs.
You can see the car.
Crikey, blimey.
See, I've got that lined up.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
My back is completely knackered again. Right. Yeah, I went to move the car, and
Yeah.
as I was stepping out of this off the front doorstep, because you got to move, twist your pelvis, I was like, that really hurts. That's not good. And then as I was coming back in the house, I went to put my foot up on into the front door, and I couldn't lift my foot up, and I was just stood like, why is it not moving? This is hurting.
You poor bugger.
Yeah.
How are we doing for time?
But
Oh, cripes.
I managed to get it.
Yeah,
Yes, we've got 10 minutes.
We've only got 10 minutes to go.
Yes.
I'm not going to
So where did we get up to on chat? Oh, let's quickly get on with the chat. Nancy says, one of my customers who died a few years ago was one of the last of the few. He was on just about every Spitfire documentary. He also gave up bacon and eggs for breakfast after having it every
morning
day since the war at the age of 95 because the doctor told him it's not good for his health.
He got to 95.
Yeah.
He got on
even with the look mapper.
Yeah.
Dancy says, I'm thinking extra altitude, Jim. Yeah, there is that as well. Sonic says Hancock's half hour. I have no idea what that is.
Hancock's half hour.
Kerry says, sorry, Dad, I'm eating your lunch. Ha ha.
Okay.
Jim says, early in the war, German pilots would go vertical to lose an opponent. Spitfires and Hurricanes had flat bowl carburetors.
Yeah.
And would lose fuel. Germans had fuel injection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way the Spitfires in the early stages of the war could catch up with the Messerschmitts was in a dive. So it was all a case of manoeuvring them into a position whereby the Spitfire had the advantage.
Yeah. Sonic says, Jim, I love using that technique, flying jets on Grand Theft Auto.
You can fly jets on Grand Theft Auto. I thought it was a car driving game.
No, you can nick anything if you can break into the. As long as you can get into the airport, you can nick jets.
Oh God!
And helicopters and things as well.
No wonder Jake likes playing
it. Dancy says, just nipping to the shop, back in 5 minutes. That was
we may not be here.
5 minutes ago.
Oh.
Jim says,
back.
Sonic, no. Sounds like a fun game to play.
Right.
Jim says, Sonic, American pilots use that move in Vietnam. The Phantom could easily outclimb a MiG-17 or 21. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
The Second World War is also where the phrase balls to the wall comes from the P-51 pilots.
Yeah.
Because the throttle had a ball on it, didn't it? And to go full throttle, they had to put the ball up against the firewall.
Yeah. Balls to the wall.
Yeah. So Sonic says, Jim, there's some planes based on old war era fighters, and I created a vehicle deathmatch with them. Nobody ever joins, though. Would love to do that with a group of friends. Oh, on GTA. Sonic, there's Tony Hancock's comedy radio show, Mikey? No.
Yeah.
Don't
he
listen to the radio.
Introduced the world to the comedy of Sid James. Sid James was quite a serious actor.
Right.
Up until,
so bearing in mind, Sid James died about 30 years before, or 20 years before I was born. The fact that he introduced Sid James.
No, he didn't. Sid James died in the early 80s, I think.
Did he?
Or late 70s. Yeah. He used to
guess what, Gary?
That's
still about 10 years before I was born.
And thanks for joining us for the last episode of the Three Veterans. It's been a blast.
Yes, because if you listen to Sonic, if you listen to Mikey, next week it'll be 2 veterans because I'll be dead.
Oh, God.
Yeah, then it'll be 2 veterans and a ghost.
You mean a goat?
Carry on.
Oh,
what, silly old?
Or a donkey?
Kaylee, stop it. Jim says, sounds like a great idea, Sonic. Sonic says, GTA planes, helicopters, and boats. Yeah.
Okay.
And parachutes. You can parachute off things as well. Sonic says, I like listening to my dad's comedy LPs. LPs?
Stop it.
I'm joking.
He's just big enough.
My dad did leave me some of them when Mum and Dad got divorced.
Vinyl, they call it now. Vinyl.
So I did listen to vinyl when I was little.
Great band, Chrissy Amplet.
Yep. Yeah. I stopped listening to it when CDs came out. Stuart, there you go. Stuart says it was 1976 when Sid James died.
76. There you go.
So it's a full 12 years before I was born.
Yeah.
You is that old, Gary. That you can remember Sid James being introduced.
1964, mate.
Yeah, that's old, mate.
No, I wasn't around when he was introduced, but I have listened to the...
That's a whole 23 years before I was born.
I have listened to Hancock's Half Hour, which, you know, people will tell you Hancock was a genius.
I've heard comedians say that, but I don't think I've ever...
Unfortunately, like all geniuses, he ended up taking his own life.
All right, so look, we're about to wrap up. So, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you zoom in on my quadrant, I'll show you how I'm struggling.
No, we're not making it all about you.
Okay. All right. So the chin, the sump, if you like, this bit, it's not a bad fit. Well, certainly I can get one side on. But the other, you know, it's got a gap on the back, so that's not so good. I think I can massage it into shape a little bit later on, but I'll wait for that side to dry first. As for the top, I've got the firewall on at that bit there, but I mean the gaps that what I've got at the front there is just horrendous, and that's not going to close up. But I reckon I can have all sorts of filler around that. But yeah, but these are the gaps we're talking about. Like it's not a good kit. Oh, for God's sake! It's not bloody finished it. But there we are. So
she leaves the house.
So the deal is, it seems like, and once that's in place, then the wing will fit on there fairly well, and I think I'd be able to get it on the rear part of the fuselage as well, and I'd be able to close it up. It is the big gaps are going to be at the front, and it's going to it's going to have lots of filler, but it'll look Spitfire like, but yeah, it's not going well. Yeah. But anyway, there we are. So that's me. So that sort of glue, I'll leave that one to fix next week, if it doesn't go in the bin in the meantime. But yeah, I think it'll look okay with a lot of filler, like way too much filler, like literally like 1.5 mil gaps that I won't be able to close. How'd you go with no engine, Gary? Better?
Let's just go through chat before you go on to the next one.
Okay.
Jim says, as a youth, George Carlin was a very popular American stand-up comedian. Cool. Stuart says, 1964, you're still young, Gary.
Thank you, Stuart. You're a very, very nice person.
God bless
Jim
you.
says, Stuart, here.
Yes. See?
Sonic says 33s and 45s, Mikey. What's 500 got to do with it? Jim says, meant to say, when I was a youth, George Carlin was a very popular comedian. I think he just did say that.
George Carlin.
Stuart says, wasn't there a 72 as well, Sonic? Now you're just playing battleships. Sonic says, I love playing 33s on 45 speed. Funny as hell.
Yeah.
He says, Sonic, I did that too. Very juvenile and very funny. I used to put, when my mum used to put records on, I used to put like a little toy on it so that it'd spin round on the LP. And I'd just watch it go round.
Uh-huh.
When we used to visit my nan when we were kids, she still had a wind-up gramophone. That was fun.
And you say you're not old.
My nan was.
I've never even seen a wind-up gramophone.
All right. Wow.
Wind-up grandma phone.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, my grandma died last year at the age of 102, so she did all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But saying that, your mum's been planning your funeral for how long?
The last 6 months, yeah.
Yeah. I still remember that day when your mum rang up and you came off the phone. First thing you said, my mum's been planning my funeral.
All I said was, I'm not looking forward to being 60 this year. And she said, well, you have done a lot with your life. It's not over yet.
Even your mum thinks your time's put out to pasture. Sonic says George Carlin was brilliant.
Yeah.
Still none the wiser. As a comedian. Sonic says Lego Men spinning on records. I didn't have Lego Men. What did I spawn there? Oh, the little toys out, the Kinder Eggs and stuff. And then I'd switch it up to the higher speed and watch them fly off across the room. And my mum would go mad. So put the LP on the wrong speed. Jim says, Carlin was a New York-born Irishman, always made fun of growing up Catholic. Stuart says, Nan's record player was a piece of furniture built into a sideboard.
Yeah, I remember those.
I think I've seen one of them on the telly at some point.
Yeah, right.
They did look cool. And it makes a lot more sense than having to go out and buy a trolley stand and put a hi-fi on it or whatever.
You've got Spotify now. You just download it to your phone.
Yeah, I don't use Spotify. I like buying the CDs.
Okay. Right then. So,
Because it means that nobody can take them away from me then. If I don't pay a subscription, I keep the music.
And
Okay.
these lovely cover
Yeah,
art.
so sorry. Gary.
Right, just getting things into shot there. Right, so
Yes, indeed.
the usual 2 stages forward, 3 stages back.
I just
let's
realised
talk
you
about-
can flip your camera as well.
I can. There you go. See?
Well, your hands will come
Right.
from the bottom.
Yeah. So I put the interior cockpit color down, and I detail painted roughly the bits inside. I've also started building the tub for the pilot. Not that there's going to be one. And then I removed the engine that's been causing me so many problems. Most of them my own, but it just was not going to fit in here. What I have managed to do is glue the exhausts on already. I may have to mask them up, obviously, to paint it, or just paint it and then repaint them. I have managed to dry fit this part. It will go in. So I'm rather hoping that I can move forward better next week.
Cool.
So we'll see. Yeah. Bit of a 2 steps forward, 3 steps back day today.
But at least it's actually looking like we'll be able to put these aircraft together now. Whereas last week we were a bit doubtful.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
still
We're
doubtful.
debating whether to bin
I'm
them.
still not convinced, Mikey, when you the back end is now
Just a point, Gary.
yeah.
You know you're not having the engine in.
Yeah.
How are you going to connect the front end? Because the spinner is
I
on the
thought-
engine.
Yeah, I've because this will still fit in.
Yep.
And I will take a bit off of the front of the engine and
Yep.
push it through. I've thought of
Well,
that. I've thought of
Well, you
that.
could always just glue the gearbox onto the back of it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
take it off the engine and glue the gearbox on.
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, we've made some positive moves forward this morning.
yeah.
What about you, Mikey? Where have you got to?
I've just been sanding all the test fitting
That's how
and
the front
sanding
will go.
bits down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just been sanding bits down, and it is starting to fit a bit better now. Now that things have been sanded down nicely.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll continue to fight. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I've got no doubt about that. It's definitely going to be a challenge, but I'm a little bit more hopeful about it now.
Well,
Which is
yeah.
good.
I mean, with an engine on, it is. Yeah, it's coming together, but there's gaps. They will remain. So
I think it's still going to be a pig, just not as big of a pig as it was.
I
Yeah.
think once we get all the filler, it'll be filler everywhere. But once we get paint down, it'll look like a Spitfire. So that's what we're after, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll keep going.
A few comments. Sonic says, I blue tacked Lego men's hands onto the edge and it looked like they were holding on for dear life.
Yeah.
Oh. Come on. He says, so tempted to do that again and film it for a YouTube video now. Yeah, you should. It'd be funny. Next. Dancy says, the American version of Dave Allen, Jim.
Oh, Dave Allen, what a comedian.
He was good.
Stuart says, lol, Sonic would probably get a lot of views. It probably would, especially if you did it for a while and you did voices with it and things like that. And you made like a stop motion video with different characters going across the LP and stuff.
Do it as a short
like
on
a little
YouTube.
helicopter coming in to try and rescue him and things.
Yeah, you'll get lots of people watching it as a short. Yeah.
Worries me your imagination sometimes, Mikey.
That's why I do this, because this combined with D&D allows me to get all my creative stuff out of my head and allows me to sleep without ideas rushing into my head all the time. Jim says, thanks again for another great show, guys. See you tomorrow, Mikey? I believe so, yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be the last episode of the Albatross tomorrow. And I think it probably will be. But there's no way my Albatross is going to be finished for tomorrow. I'm not worrying about it because I'd just end up smashing it if I did.
Sure.
Because it's a pig. So Dancy says, yes, see you all later. Indeed.
Cheers, Dancy. All the best, mate. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you. Sonic says, just need the perfect song for it. I'm sure you'll find something that won't breach copyright. Look on YouTube, YouTube Studio. There's loads of songs on there that you can use and not get copyright strikes. Sonic says, cheers, Jim. Take it easy, buddy. Jim says, Sonic, see you, mate. Have a great day. And Kieran says, thanks for a great stream. No problem. Thank you for joining us. The better looking Marley says, thanks for the company, gents. You're most welcome. Stuart says, another great stream. Thank you, guys. You're welcome. Jim says, to all the chat, take care and have a great day, y'all.
You too, sir.
So, I just realised I'm still on my desk.
Yes.
There we go. Right. Yes. Well, we're finishing reasonably early. We're only 6 minutes late. So, do you guys want to say your goodbyes?
Yeah, Uru. See you next time.
Goodbye.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Cheers. Ta-da.
Cool power.